Hey guys, once again, I am Michelle Lott, the creator of Skies Ablaze. This is the second ever video for Skies Ablaze, and today we're going to talk about how this fire got started. As I mentioned in the first video, I kept coming up with shows, and I was working closely with an editor who mentioned we needed to figure out intellectual property for these shows, and it needed to be under something. Then she said the words I never wanted to hear, and still don't. We should start a theater company! I was seriously one of the few students in the Columbia theater department who did not want to start a company. I deal with my own issues in my studio apartment. I don't need to worry about the plumbing in another location. But, you know, she had a point. And then I remembered Cameron Mackintosh. For those of you who don't know, Cameron Mackintosh is one of the biggest theater producers in the world. He has produced things from Miss Saigon to Les Mis, basically almost all of Andrew Lloyd Webber's repertoire. And he owned a production company. Basically what he would do is he would take a show, have it produced, created, gone through the whole gauntlet, and just like a music act, would bring that to a venue where it is then produced in that location. So Cameron Mackintosh, this is all your fault for Skies Ablaze. Before I knew it, we were trying to figure out the name. The name, I believe, came to me quickly. I just know that I wanted the word Ablaze in the title, thanks to my favorite show that has ever been produced at the Goodman. Objects in the Mirror by Charles Smith. Objects in the Mirror is about this young man named Shedrick who escapes from war-torn New Guinea to being a refuge in Australia. While he is in Australia, he struggles with his identity because while he was running away, he had to take on the identity of his dead cousin Zaza. And he comes to a point where he wants to be Shedrick again, but he can't. There's this moment at the end of the show where he is talking to the man he's been working for. He's told basically his entire story to this man. And while he's been working there, he's been, specifically painting this man's foyer, a paint color called Ablaze. And I'm going to quickly read a portion of that script. So he's apologizing for not finishing this man's foyer. And Rob is basically saying, why are you apologizing? You painted this thing like, what, 5 or 6 times? He says it just needs one more paint. The foyer is fine, Shedrick. He says, but you can see. Rob cuts him off and says, you can see. You can see the color that used to be there, but that color is gone. It no longer exists. You've painted over it, repeatedly. No, but it's still there, underneath. Yes, underneath, but nobody can see it. Nobody but you. And the only way you're able to see it is by remembering what it used to be. If you can only give it time, that memory will fade. If you give it time, you'll be able to see the new color that's there. The color that you choose, the bright, the light, ablaze. Isn't that the color that you chose, ablaze? It's there. You painted it. It came from you. All you have to do is allow yourself to see it. Now, I had the absolute honor of being the assistant director to Chuck Smith when this was being developed in their new plays development. And every time we ever got to this part, whether it was rehearsal or the final show, I cried my eyes out. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that idea, that feeling, that emotion, that passion in this company. And I wanted some way to have Ablaze in that title, almost like an homage to it. I honestly don't know how the Skies part came. I'm sure it was from playing around with ideas and messages we wanted to convey. I think I said sky is the limit in terms of topics, and so I set the skies on fire. Now, the idea of talking about elephants in the room of society, or as my mother puts it after she heard a plot in one of my shows, why can't I do any happy shows? I'm the kind of person who, if they don't like something or have a question or comment, will definitely say it. And I'm not subtle in general or any which way. So if something unfair is happening, I will call it out even if no one else will or will stand with me. And I think the kind of person that you are reflects into what kind of work that you do. Not only in terms of what topics to talk about, but also how you do it. I'm not like other companies that find an injustice like racism and just throw it on stage and have something happen to them that is just overly, obviously racist. And I'm not going to turn to the audience that go and say, this is racist through art. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just go look up high school theater production from SNL. There are multiple ones, and he will make you get what I'm trying to say in like the first minute. So I wanted to talk about injustices and other things, either by the character being in it or in some metaphorical way. Now, this is not to say we are a very political theater company. We are just socially aware and realize we have a chance to talk about topics that other people don't in a different fashion. For example, one of the ways I do this is through normalization, taking a minority group and making them seem, gasp, human. In A Soldier's Worth, Lucia comes home to her wife and finds out over time that she had an affair with another woman while she was deployed. And they deal with it like any other couple. Their lives suck because life sucks, not because they're gay, because of life. This is a very common thing that I do, and not a lot of people make it common enough. So for the past few months, I started making things real. At the beginning, I did the basic stuff, like the name, the foundation, mission statement, the purpose, contracts, and, the lineup of shows. Hell, I even produced a stage reading of a terrible flop of a script in the fall of 2017. And then, after accepting life is always going to be a distraction and to just schedule things in, we started creating plans and meetings to discuss going forward. And that kind of leads to now. We are now in the process of just trying to create different fundraisers and get the company out there. If any of you out there who are watching this, please, send me ideas, or if you know somebody are willing to host something for us. The goal is to get $1,400. With that money, we plan on buying the licensing rights, the different copyrights for the shows, and of course have the money to pay venues to have us produce shows. Basically the foundation to get us started. Then after that, going back to doing what we're supposed to do. Making shows, making theater. So this was more of a footnote, wasn't it? Because we're so young, our history is kind of thin. But that's the fun part about seeing something grow up. I know it's going to sound weird, but I enjoy spending weekends and nights where I plan things out, write new scenes, come up with, the latest campaign idea. And what I want to do is in a few years, tell this exact same story again and see how different this is, or maybe tell you some dirty trauma around the theater. So yeah, I already got a reboot lined up. To those who got hesitant or laughed or doubted I would be here in a few years, I don't think you know me. I want this to succeed. God, I'm excited for what this will look like in a few years. So, that concludes this evening. Visit us on all of our different social medias that is found in the description below. And of course, check out our GoFundMe. I'll see you soon, and once again, let's art.